It's the discussion of whether or not Disney as an entity is redeemable. Interestingly enough, the 10K filings, which is SEC filings, you gotta do that sort of stuff when you're a massive conglomerate. In 2023, in their 10K filings, diversity was mentioned 18 times, inclusion was mentioned 14 times, and equity was mentioned 3 times. In 2022, the year prior, it was mentioned 22 times. Diversity was mentioned 22 times, inclusion was mentioned 17 times. In the latest 10K filings of Disney, zero mentions of diversity, zero mentions of inclusion, zero mentions of equity, zero mentions of DEI, and zero mentions of inclusion and belonging. In your opinion, I've been kind of on the fence. I can be argued either way. Can Disney be redeemed? Are they turning a corner, especially with the 250-year anniversary of the country? They're saying, hey, we're going to be super pro-America themed. Are they redeemable, or is this just a play recognizing the direction of the country and trying to make sure they get that ever valuable dollar?
They're certainly redeemable. Look, people
Okay.
thought X was never redeemable or Twitter at the time, and then Elon Musk came
Yeah.
in. They're going to need new leadership. And I'm not saying we need hyper-partisan leadership. I think leadership that just says, hey, let's wash this all out and go back to what Disney was known for, the legacy brand, Americana, right? So let's take all these buzzwords and maybe we won't kill them. We'll put them on a nice farm in upstate New York and we'll forget about it for a while. Disney wizardry. But the question is that at 12 o'clock, instead of turning into a pumpkin, do all the Disney minions come out and say, well, we might not be using the words in our reports, but they're still stitched into our DNA? And that's what we need to figure out here. Is the simple washing, or as they like to say, reimagining of this report going to produce change, or is it strictly a farce or a veneer to say, hey, guys, we're good to go?
Okay, well, so that's the question. What's your prediction? Where do you think it actually
I think
goes 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the road?
I think the latter, unfortunately. I think that once the communists get in there and the Bolsheviks get in there, they are like a disease, a cancer that spreads, and you cannot get rid of them because they metastasize so quickly. And that's
Mm.
what's happened in our school boards. That's what's happened in local city governments. And now we're looking down on it from above and saying, oh my gosh, how did this happen? But it also happened in corporate America through a lot of these entry level positions, the unionization of this thought process, and you can't get rid of it now. So yeah, maybe you can do a little cut, copy, and paste on your end of the year report, but it's there. So I'm going to take the bearish approach on this and say we're screwed.
You are in line with many of the guests. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's my sunny, optimistic view of the world, but I really want Disney to come around and be the Disney of the 90s that had all of these really influential movies that they made. But unfortunately, I seem to be the minority in that case, thinking that there's a possibility, there's a glimmer of hope. I also very much see your side of the argument that, yeah, once the communists get in, they ruin everything, and so you got to tear it down to the studs.